How y'all doing? It's me, Judge Lynn. What's happening? Before I do anything else, I want to answer this question because I don't know when this lady is doing this, and I wanted to get to it before she went. And she says, uh, "My husband passed away a couple of years ago. I still sleep with the lights on. You wouldn't believe the things I did, and still doing. My daughter is having minor surgery in 2 weeks, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have a panic attack when I walk into that hospital." And I don't really want to share my feelings with her since she's going under anesthesia. And my oldest granddaughter moved in with me when my husband died. She'll be staying the night with the room, so I will be alone for a couple of nights. Do I let the family know my feelings or just push through it? I have a small family and my two grown kids already worry too much about me. I don't want to slip back into that dark place or experience another major breakdown. First of all, this is what I'm going to say to you. You sound like me. And I think a lot of other mothers who believe that someone used to use this expression all the time, and it's just, you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid, and that I left the cap off my glue. But I want to say this to you. First of all, if your family loves you and they know you're not feeling good because they see what's happening with you, not to say anything about how you really feel is not keeping your feelings from them. They know you're just keeping your feelings bottled up. And to release your feelings is not necessarily to burden someone else. If you release them in a way that is like, sit down, "Well, how are you feeling about this surgery?" I say, like, "I'm a little nervous about going into that hospital." You know, you employ each other's kindness, love, and grace in these circumstances. I can't tell them how I'm feeling. I'm going to run in, I'll run like this. And I'm telling you, no matter how chill you believe you feel, it will bubble up on you. So respect your daughter enough to believe that she can handle that and 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 don't you think she already knows that's probably a problem for you? And you know, just treat her like the adult that she is and say, everybody's going through something. I'm allowed to care for you, but you're not allowed to care for me because I'm the mother figure, and that's not true. It's we talk about it. And me and my sons, we've talked about it. Not too long after having lost my husband, I had to go to the hospital because my sister needed a shunt in her brain. Right? So I fly to Dallas. Now, it's not a big deal, shunt in the brain. It sounds like a big deal, but apparently it's not because she wasn't interested. She wasn't nervous about it. She's a neurologist. And everybody else was just cool and calm and so I get there, I take care of everything, da 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 da. And it was fine. I was focused on her. I was focused on her. I was focused on what they were telling me. I was focused on this. I was focused on that. And I thought, you a bad chick. Then they put her on that gurney and wheeled her down that hall. I let loose. Do you hear me? Oh my God. Everybody looked at me like, what is wrong with this woman? So my sister hollered from the gurney. She lost her husband not too long ago in a hospital. So then the nurse just held me. You know what I mean? My sister knew of my pain. And she was on a gurney, getting wheeled in. They were gonna put something in the brain, but it didn't bother. She knew, you know. So trust your people to love you and know you and handle it. And y'all share your pain. It's not, I can't tell her about mine because she already knows you got it. She just don't know where it is and how it's feeling. And when everybody kind of talks it through, it makes it easier, you know? So I have faith in you. I do, I do, I do. Uh, I just had a I stopped this thing because I had a thought and I wanted to think it through because I didn't want to say that. I didn't want the people to say anything on these things. They were, do you have to understand? But anyway, being such, oh, I understand. But anyway, Uh, I was gonna say about some people that are famous on here, personal, but not more, way more famous than me. Uh, Sharing personal business in a way that I find freaky. You know what I mean? I think it's weird. I think that's the age that we're in. But having married a man that was very private, and I don't care what you know. Uh, it's kind of weird, and I'm never quite sure where I am with it. But I've got this dilemma that I've been trying to work out. Remember, I told you last week I was all distraught, and I was too distraught to come on here. Well, one thing I was distraught about, I still can't tell you about, but I called my son about it, and I called him up at his office. And usually, when I call him up at his office, I give him a minute to say his company's name so he can walk away so I could talk to him in person. But I was so distraught, I just started hollering in the just started hollering. He was in the middle of his office, and uh, everybody heard me going crazy. And then I called him back and said, "Don't come home. I'm fine. I just had to let loose." And he said, "I'm coming home." And I said, "No." And he said, "Goodbye." Next thing I know, he's home. And I said, "What you come home for? I told you not to come home." And he said, "Mom, you hollering and crying in the middle of on the phone in the middle of my office." I don't want to talk to her. So, what, you thought the phone was for you? You think the phone's for you? Liz. But anyway, anyway, uh, so uh he came home. He says, "You were high." He said, "How could I not come home because they heard you?" And I said, "Well, she said not come home." I said, "Your mother's upset. You need to leave. I'd look like a first class jerk if I didn't come home." And I said, I appreciate that, son." And so we had a nice day. I offered to make him a meal, and then, I know he was thinking, "Oh, no good deed goes unpunished," because they really actively try not to uh, eat what I had, but I did make him a meal and he loved it. I told you about that. I'm so excited about that. I don't know if this is like an achievement. You know what I mean? Like he's still talking about it. I'm gonna make it again today, probably mess it up, but I'm like, it's an achievement. You know what I mean? They got excited about a meal. And he couldn't quite wrap his mind around how good it was. And he said to me at one point in a phone call, he said, "Usually I just try to avoid the eating over there, but I just can't get over it." It was funny. He was actually confused by the good food. But anyway, the next day, something really went wrong. And, the, the ambulance came and all of that. And so I had to call my son again. I said, I'm at the hospital with your brother. We don't know what went on. He's fine now. And they don't know what went wrong with him. They just said, his organs are shutting down and we don't know why. He had no drugs in his system except the ones they were giving him. And so I'm in the hospital, and something happened, and security went running to his room, and then they was gonna put my son in this other room. It's the hospital and it was that room where you wait to hear that your husband ain't coming home no more. And while other people were running in his direction, and I didn't go in there. I just walked up and down the hall, and my son went in there, and then he came back out. I'm like, that wasn't a good idea. And at some point, we got back there. They didn't know what was wrong with him, but they were worried about his labs and all that kind of stuff, and they just couldn't figure it out. And I couldn't talk to him. He didn't know where he was, and all of that. And I was distraught. And this was like 3 days. People were, it was crazy, right? You know, I always say discretion is the better part of valor, and I just caught myself being indiscreet on this last portion of what I was about to say, so I stopped saying it again. You know, even though someone has done something to me to make me very upset, and I was, and I don't know how to feel about it, uh, and I said something to you about it, and then I thought to myself, how awful would it be for that person to hear about it? And I wouldn't use their name or anything like that, but not hear about it from me. I don't want to, I don't want, if I'm upset with you, I need to talk to you before I talk about you to anybody else. And I broke my own rule. Just broke it. Bam, pop. It's terrible. So I'm not gonna go there. I cut it out, and uh, my thing is everybody's so emotional and so upset, and for a lot of reasons. Everybody's got a lot of different stressors, and then our stressors kind of overlap because you have, you know, all different kinds of level things that you cannot affect and things that you can, and then you're worried about the things that you do affect, you didn't do a good job or not. So I don't know what to tell you. Someone asked me, so I'm gonna answer some easy questions, and I'm gonna leave here before I say anything too stupid. Someone wanted to do where are they now for divorce court. First of all, I'm not on divorce court anymore. I don't know what to do with it. It would be a good idea, but the people move and shake and shatter so much around these days. Phones, to you can't find them. They were hard to keep up with in the beginning, and so that wouldn't work. Anyway, that wouldn't be my ballywick. How to find a good therapist? I don't know. I found a great one, but it was just trial and error, try and try again, and you just kind of keep going till you find somebody that can understand the way your wobble works. Because I found me a life coach anyway that can work with my wobble and understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of it was because we had similar backgrounds, which was important. So that's something you can take into consideration. But that's not just because you're alike in background. It just makes you two easier to understand one another. Doesn't mean necessarily that's the greatest therapist for you. So you just kind of have to, trial and error. I don't know of any wonderful way to do it because I know it took me 2 years to find somebody that I clicked with. I mean, I had somebody that I clicked with on one level, but I needed a different kind of, after Eric died. And it took a long time to find, and I did the ones on the internet. I found them to be less than helpful, but that means only the four that I tried were less than helpful, and they may have been just less for helpful for me because it wasn't. But I found somebody who could rock with my role or roll with my rock, depending on how you look at it. I hope you rocking and rolling today. I hope things are going well. Put out the energy you want to get back. Don't put out no dumb stuff. Cause I put out energy that I couldn't have gotten back, and I'm glad I asked myself about it. If you guys wanna, you can ask questions down here. It on the link says link tree. Click it, and it says Ask Judge Lynn. And you click on that, goes voicemail. Email goes straight to me. Can I ask a question? It's about the emails. And I get it. You get all kinds of people coming into the email looking for all kinds of stuff, and I never get mad about it. But my question is there a new aggressive dating process that I am unaware of? First of all, I ain't dating nobody. And when, I'm just not doing that. I'm, over here trying to keep everybody up above water. But I am floored by, flattered that someone would be interested, but floored by the aggression. Do you know what I mean? Like, you oughta, and what, and just because I don't get it. I mean, if is that a thing, or is it a mechanism by which, I don't know. It would just seem to me, I'm not inviting them. I'm not mad that I got them, but I just don't understand the tone. And I just don't know if I've been married too long and now it's like a whole different thing. And if it is, I'd love someone to describe it for it. Not because I'm gonna get in it, but I want to understand it. And I've seen it from a different perspective than I ever saw it before. I mean, I saw the results of it, but I never saw the inception of this new thing because I don't know. If you can help me out, please do. If you can't, it's okay too. I gotta go and try to replicate this meal. Wish me all the luck in the world. I'm gonna need it.